Thank you for joining us, Minister. I think it's only fair that you can respond to Helen Newcombe, who says that she thinks your target is to actually remove the program. What would you say to that?
Well, again, that is frankly a conspiracy theory. Our goal is to make sure that the Healthy School Lunch program works well and works at around half the cost of the previous program. Now, you might say it's only money. Why is that important? It's also important to recognise that under the previous government's budget, they put money aside for 2023, money aside for 2024. In the 4-year cycle they left us, there was no money at all for 2025. So we had to either borrow another 340 million, tax another 340 million, or cut some other thing, perhaps some other thing in education. We thought those weren't good options. What we did was we asked ourselves, how can we deliver healthy school lunches for a lower price? And we figured out a way to do it for $170 million. I would say that while there's been problems, that we've been upfront, we've been honest, we've acknowledged those, we are solving them. For example, if you look at the interview with that principal you've just had, actually the meal quality has been very good, but there's been some problems in recent days. There were people who, I think in your introduction, you said that they've been late, that they haven't shown up. Actually, in the last few days, we've been achieving 99 to 100% on-time delivery. I think it was 99% on Monday. I don't have figures for Tuesday yet. So, we have had problems. We've been upfront about it. We've solved them, and we'll continue to do that. And the net result will be meals that the children do actually like. We've had a lot of positive feedback, and you even had some from that principal. Then we will be able to say, look, we've actually made this sustainable, or we've made it affordable, and we've made it more efficient, and we've made it good with the same nutritional standards that there were there previously. So look, some people can dwell on the problems. I take them very seriously, but I'm not here to complain. I'm here to fix them, and that's what we're doing.
And there were always going to be teething problems, weren't they? How frustrated are you, though, that we're this far into term and we still haven't got there yet?
Look, it's not really any point being frustrated. The question is every day, what can you do? So there was an incident the other day where they burnt some meals. That's not good enough. We acknowledged that. We found out what happened within 24 hours, and we've gone back and said, okay, we know what happened now. We're not going to do it again. So, this is the way that we do it, and that's the only way you can do it. Ask yourself each day, how can I do better for tomorrow?
They did burn some meals, but it's a little bit more serious when you get melted plastic in there. Obviously, we've identified that problem, but how confident are you that that's just going to be a one-off?
Well, ultimately, it's 143,000 meals a day. That was a problem. We know how to stop that happening. When you've got hundreds of people operating up and down the country, delivering hundreds of thousands of meals, in fact, a couple of million by this stage in the term, then there are going to be problems. And you have to remember, there's people you've had on your show who are really keen to politicise this and point the finger. There were 7 different Ministry of Primary Industry food safety investigations into the previous school lunch program, and unfortunately, if you look across the country, you go to restaurants, you go to catering, these things happen. It's just that this particular program has a lot more political attention on it right now. My commitment is that we are going to do it very well. We're going to overcome problems when we find them, and we're going to be first class at what we do.
It's rightly so, though, that it should have their political attention, though, shouldn't it? Because we're dealing with kids at the end of the day, and the ones that we're really worried about here are the ones that don't have the opportunity to have those meals before school or after school. So I guess on that point, what did you make of the Prime Minister's comments about just popping a Marmite sandwich in, when really that's not who we're talking about here, is it?
Oh, look, Chris is absolutely correct, actually. Parents have a responsibility to feed their children. Parents have the right and the ability to send their children to school with lunch. We haven't taken that away. We haven't banned that. It's not compulsory to eat these meals. Now, the other thing I hear you saying is that in reality, the Healthy School Lunch program, which is an education initiative, has actually become a kind of extension of the welfare state. I would make the case that this government and previous governments have an entire system of welfare. It is supposed to allow people to afford the necessaries of life and to be able to ultimately live good lives. The idea that the Healthy School Lunch program is in actual fact the only way that many New Zealanders get fed doesn't stack up. We don't do it on the weekends. We don't do it on school holidays. In fact, school is only open for about half the days of the year, around 183 days a year. So I don't think that argument really stacks up. And again, to me, it points to politicisation.
Mr. Luxon has said that you're well aware of the issues and challenges, but he's got every confidence you'll fix it. Erica Stanford didn't go quite as far as to express any confidence yesterday. Have you had that chance to have the meeting with the minister yet?
No, look, I mean, ultimately, I'm the one who's been put in charge of this, and I'm going about the business. I've briefed other ministers, including Erica. I did that on Monday, and, you know, I'll get to meeting with her too.
She said she's going to want to know what the plan is moving forward. Could you tell us what the plan is moving forward? What are you going to tell her?
Well, first of all, it's not entirely her concern, but I'll be happy to be candid with anyone who asks. We have some operational problems. I'm meeting frequently with the people who are involved, and it's a case of continuous improvement. What we have in place is actually largely working. It's dealing with these exceptions that pop up in the media that we need to do, and we are doing that day by day.
There's... Rebecca Lessels, who we had on from NZEI, said that she would like to see Erica Stanford put in charge of the school lunch program. Do you feel like you've got the confidence of those around you and you're doing a good enough job that you should continue on with this?
Yeah, I mean, look, I've discussed this with other ministers in the government. They understand the situation. They're happy with the job that I'm doing. When I hear from the unions, let's be really honest about this. These are not teachers. These are the union organisers. These are the professional unionists who are sort of verging on politicians themselves playing politics. So they're entitled to a view. I'm glad they've been on your show. But at the end of the day, that's the union view, and they're playing politics.
You mentioned a few times that it's been politicised. Do you think that people are, at the end of the day, are just going to be whinging no matter what? That they're going to get these meals and they're going to say, oh, I don't like it, the kids don't like it, they're being fussy, that you're just going to get complaints and people not happy with it regardless of what happens here?
It's a mixture of the two. I think that there are real problems. We've been really open and upfront, and we are fixing them. We're working through, for example, at the beginning we had a problem with on-time delivery. There was one city, one day, where they only delivered 11% of the meals to the right place at the right time. That was nowhere near good enough, but as I mentioned, over the last 4 weeks we've overcome that problem, and we're now finding that we get 99 to 100% on-time delivery to the schools. There are some problems around quality, which I acknowledge. We're working through fixing those. So we do have an obligation to make it better and solve problems where they are. However, to address the other part of your question, I think it's also true that in every parent, 75% of parents, just remember, have to make their own kids' lunch every day. And a lot of those come back uneaten, and the parents are upset and they think the kids are ungrateful, and the kids think the parents aren't giving them a good enough lunch in their lunchbox. That's normal. So the idea that we're going to reach some sort of nirvana where everybody absolutely loves everything they eat, I don't know about you, Chris, but I don't have that in my life. There's a lot of things I eat I wish were a bit better. So, natural life is going to involve complaints and dissatisfaction. My job is to fix those operational things so we're providing a consistent service at a standard.